Hey, everybody, I got a list of 5 more books that you can read regarding psychedelics. I've already done 2 videos, and each of those had 5 books, but there's more and more stuff coming out. So I want to share 5 more for you. This is Eddie with a Mindful Emergence, where Margaret and I offer mindfulness, movement, and breathing practices for your healing and spiritual transformation. We're in the waking up business, and most of our work now is related to plant medicine. So let's get on with the books. Let's start with this one called Psychedelics and Psychotherapy. And as the title suggests, it's really geared towards psychotherapists. Well, we're not psychotherapists, but we found this book very interesting and helpful. There's a number of contributors in here, some very well informed people. So it's a good read, and I especially recommend it if you identify as someone who is a guide, a sitter, you support people in moving through this experience meaningfully. Second book, Consciousness Medicine. This is quite well known. You might have heard of this book by Francoise Bourzat. And Francoise is a therapist who has spent a lot of time with the Mazatecs in Mexico, and their primary medicine is psilocybin. And she really digs into the indigenous wisdom. And one thing I really appreciate about her as she goes through here is this incredible respect for the tradition. And so that's very much appreciated. But she really gets into consciousness exploration with medicine. Really good book. Like it a lot. Next book, Zig Zag Zen. As a practicing Buddhist for over 40 years, I've become very much aware of the fact that for probably over 60 years, maybe going all the way back into the 60s, there's been a lot of conversations among Buddhists about psychedelics. Does it go together? Is it a good idea? And there are very strong opinions on both sides of this conversation. This is a great book. It's also got a lot of contributors, including Jack Kornfield and Lama Surya Das and so on. And if Buddhism and psychedelics are of any interest to you, I would suggest picking this one up. The next book is Good Chemistry by Julie Holland, who's a doctor. And she's a psychiatrist and psychopharmacologist. She's written a number of books, and she happens to be a medical advisor to MAPS, the Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Studies, which is where I got this hat. By the way, go to their website, maps.org, 20 bucks, get this hat, give them a contribution, and get the coolest hat on planet Earth. Don't you agree? Good book, Julie Holland and Good Chemistry. And the last book, I actually went and did 5-MeO one time in a ceremony. And afterwards, I was sitting around, and this guy who I didn't know started talking about this book, The Cosmic Serpent. Here's what happened. This guy named Jeremy Narby went into the Amazon as an anthropologist, and he was interacting with the local people. And as he was there, he began to understand how they started using plant medicines. And of course, a big one is ayahuasca, but there are others as well. And they would make all these claims about what it would do for them. And he became very curious and he looked into it. And this is a pretty interesting read. He gets into the weeds a little bit on some of the stuff. He's got a lot of graphics and so on. But you know, particularly if you're interested in the Amazon and anthropology and serpents, I would recommend this one. So there's 5 books, as I mentioned before. I'll list them in the description so you can look into them. So anyway, keep up the good reading, folks, and thanks for watching.